didn't have my coffee this morning. I have, I got a thing. I'm going to wait until 2 o'clock in the afternoon to have my coffee from now on. I'm going to start convincing my brain that I don't need things in life. And this is part of the whole process that I've been doing with trying to make my life better and to be just a better sound person and be more efficient, more functional. And, you know, I say this sometimes to the clients and people I work with who are going into microdosing or whatever. The microdosing itself will not change your brain and your thinking and all that. What changes you are the actions that you take while you're doing the microdosing. The microdosing is kind of like let's look at it as like, you know, your parents taking you to the fair, the JC fair in Victoria. Remember the JC fair when it would roll around the town, right? And you know, you would go to the JC fair. Your parents would take you to the P&E, but imagine you go into the P&E and you don't do any rides, you don't do anything. All you do is walk around the P&E.
It's
right?
stimulating.
It's stimulating, and that's, you know, that's what microdosing is you're going on to the circus and the fair, but...
Or like the casino.
Yeah.
When you walk in, you feel...
Yeah, oh, man. But you don't gamble. You know, that's the thing. You never win unless you gamble, right? And so that's the same thing with the microdosing. Like, people can take microdosing, but unless you have action attached to it, it's just a mild, low-level mushroom trip is really what it is, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. When I microdose, to break it down to you people, when you microdose, the active ingredient in mushrooms is psilocybin. You ingest psilocybin, it goes into your stomach, it converts to psilocin. Psilocin, remarkably, has the same
and it's natural occurring in your body, the psilocin, like it's created by the mushrooms in your stomach, right?
Psilocin has the same genetic properties as serotonin. So the serotonin is created in your body naturally, which makes you happy. So when you put psilocybin in you, it converts to pretty much serotonin, and that is why it lifts people a little bit. It puts a smile on your face. I agree that you need the correct surroundings. And if you want to do this treatment, you're not doing a microdose at first. You're doing, you know, a hero dose.
Well, there's certain ways to do it. And well, by the way, welcome to the episode of the Morning Dose. This is our fifth episode. We're here. My name is Mike Olton. I'm a microdose coach, and across from me is my good-looking oldest friend in the whole world, James Coulter. He is a microdose coach here as well in Vancouver, BC. Just a little background of us. We have suffered trauma like you wouldn't believe, and we've overcome a lot of it. We still live with some of it, but it doesn't control our lives. We've taken control of our thoughts and our imaginations and our memories, and we have turned this into something that we want to help other people find. And so that's why we've taken on this heavy-duty position of...
It's super heavy.
You know, and what people don't get, and I like what you're saying, we're going to return to what you're saying about the psilocybin. I want them to understand about, like, just a little bit about what we do with the people and what happens, you know, and, you know, the whole science of microdosing is one thing, but the approach to the microdosing is really where the battle is won and lost.
The approach and the dosing is the most important thing. We can explain, or I can explain the science to you, but it's all in the dosing. And for a dosing, you need a coach. You need you know, a monitor with you to, you know what you've gone through, to know how much psilocybin to take.
Exactly. Yeah. And to regiment it. Like, you know, some people are different. Some people need it every day. Some people need it every other day.
I don't agree with every day because of the serotonin syndrome. I think if you need it, pretty much it's a 5-day a week and 2 days off. You have to sort of reset, or else your body will come, you know, sort of, you know, if you do too much, your body will come immune to it. Like, you won't get the benefits of the psilocybin if you do it every day.
Yeah, but also having psilocybin in your body every day is really what you want to have happen. And
100%.
you know, and you don't have to take massive amounts to have that. You can actually, like you said, do 5 and 2. That's actually what I did when
you don't want to do massive amounts every day.
No.
Because it's going to mess your chemistry up.
Yeah. And it actually works backwards in a lot of cases, because you get this there's something called a serotonin syndrome, where you have too much, basically in layman's terms, you have too much serotonin in your body. Like, you have these things called the 5-HT2 receptors, right? And that pretty much regulates serotonin in your body. So when you take a mushroom or you take anything that stimulates those, it actually produces a certain level of serotonin, right? And if you are taking meds, let's say that produce serotonin in your body, it could block it. And you could also get too much. And too much of a good thing, like they say, too much of a good thing goes to waste, right? So it's a weird thing, because when you go to deal with people with microdosing, or you go to take them on the warrior's journey, which is the macrodose that we do, you know, when they go on that and they don't disclose their meds, or they don't disclose other drugs they're taking, you know, that can backfire.
It's all about honesty.
It has to be. It can backfire in so many ways. It can backfire with trust between you and your coach and your person that you're dealing with, but also it can mess you up, right? And basically what I do, and if anybody is doing this and this happens, this is what I do with people if they have it, is blankets. I have weighted blankets, or just moving blankets like those. Put them over them, wrap them, right? Because it's that heaviness and the hug that will calm them down while they're going through those things. And that's a good thing for people to also know. Like, if you're dealing with somebody and they have a bad trip on mushrooms, whatever, blankets. Best thing you can do is put blankets over them, cuddle them, you know, put them on a couch or in their bed, and make them feel the weight of the blanket. And that will really soothe a lot of anxieties. Because people always ask, like, what if I trip out? That's all you do. Just throw a blanket on somebody, right? And cuddle them.
And also letting the person know that, you know, mushrooms, psilocybin has a short half-life. So it's going to be over.
Yeah.
You know, 6 hours, it's going to be over, and you're going to be back to normal.
And I think I can't prove
with
this.
With vivid memories.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I can't prove this, but I think CBD is being found to lessen the trip on mushrooms. So if you are really messed up on mushrooms and you're like, oh, you take some CBD, apparently that will lessen it, I've heard, right? So there's lots of things you can do, but I think also understanding, I think what we should tell them, talk about today is just understanding exactly what the microdosing is doing to you.
Well, the science behind sort of where I was before with the psilocin having the same structure as serotonin, and the serotonin, you know, is pretty much the happy hormone. So when it hits your head, people, you have 50, 60 billion neurons in your head. And I've heard before that, mushrooms, you know, it builds more neurons. It helps, you know, it builds more, but it doesn't. No. What it does is it connects neurons.
Repairs.
Not really repairs, but it connects. You have 50 billion neurons in your head that when you're a baby, these are all connected. There's all little roads, and these are all connected. That's why kids are so weird. They ask weird questions, they fall and stuff. They're just weird. And adults, after trauma or after just life itself, we build a protective system in our brain that makes our information go certain ways. So we build these massive highways. Instead of taking all the little roads and the trails, we build these highways in our brain. And that's the way that we think. When we when we ingest psilocybin, what it does is it connects neurons that haven't been connected in so long. So all those little trails and all those little roads to different parts of your brain get activity, and it brings back memories. It brings back trauma. You relive trauma. You relive your memories. Going on our therapy with us is not a fun thing.
No.
You know, it works. It has, it's
sketchy for a little bit.
Really good results, but it's not it's not a fun thing. You may get sick. You're going to relive some of your trauma.
Yeah.
But you're getting it out, and you will feel better after it's done.
Yeah, one of the common things I do that therapists don't do, and they always talk about it, and this is the thing, like, you know, when you meet a microdose coach or you meet a warrior, one of our warriors to take you on your warrior's journey, one of our warrior leaders, you know, me personally, I'll speak for myself. I kind of look at people and I get an understanding of what they've been through by, you know, what they tell me. So a lot of people will tell me, you know, I've been to hours of therapy. I've taken hundreds of pills. You know, I've heard that. I've learned. I've had a client who spent $10,000 on therapy with therapy,
Wow.
and nothing. It's been nothing. And so when people say that, the first thing that comes into my mind is, okay, so you've sat there and unloaded probably for 5,000 of those dollars, and the other $5,000 you've just dealt with it and bide your time and probably weren't honest, right? Because if you need to go to someone for $10,000 and they haven't fixed you or at least given you an idea about who you are, you're going to get that lack of trust and you're going to not believe. And then you're just going to fall into a cycle where you're like, oh, I just got to go. It's good for me. But you're not believing it, right? And we all get it. I got that way in therapy.
You're processing it the exact same way as you would regularly,
Yeah.
like I was saying.
There's no help.
When you get the psilocybin, you process information differently.
Well, yeah, that's different. Like, so if you do therapy on psilocybin, it's completely different. And the thing is, people, like my style, dude, is like, I throw, you know, therapy out the window. Anything that they've been taught is gone, because this sort of treatment requires truth.
Yep.
This sort of, when you go on a warrior's journey, like you look at the word warrior and you can't just put warrior on like a dainty flower. Oh, that dainty flower is a warrior, unless it grows in rocks and it has hard terrain and it's made it through and it's grown, right? But that's what we're really trying to do, is we're trying to create battle-tested, you know, mentally strong warriors that go out there and their shield isn't a metal shield. Their shield is truth.
Yep.
Right? Self-awareness becomes your shield and who you are, right? And, you know, when you go through that process, you require truth from your leader, the person that's leading you through this. So for me, what I do is I bring up trauma. I've dealt with sexual assault victims where I begin at the name, you know, I ask, what was the name of the person that raped you, right? What was his name? John. Okay. And then when they're in therapy, I'm like, I need you to look at John's face. What? Like, you know, people cry and no, we need to think of John right now. I want you to picture John's face. I want you to picture everything that you remember about John, right? I want you to talk. I want you to cry it out. I want you to get the pain out, because the mushrooms will bring that pain back. But
And the mushrooms will help you deal with that pain.
Yeah.
It's sort of like they take you
face to face.
They take you a step back from your even body. And some people say it's an out of body experience,
Yeah.
but sometimes we have to go out of body. We
Have
have
to.
to look at ourselves from a different point of view to heal
Yeah.
or to help ourselves.
And getting out of body is a great analogy, because, you know, I don't know if everybody's ever done this, but have you ever been in a situation where you're like, okay, I need to step outside this and take a look at the situation so I can make a good decision, right? Like it may be a work thing or a relationship. Maybe you're in a relationship with someone, you're like, I got to step back. Is this relationship for me? Like we all do that in life as
Yeah.
humans. We
or
take
ask other people's opinion.
Or ask other
to get
people's,
a
right?
Outside box. Yeah.
And that's basically what the warrior's journey does. Is the warrior takes you away from your body, because your body is the environment that is the problem, right? Your brain is trying to function in an environment that isn't conducive to it being healthy and being strong. So taking you kind of out of your body to look at your life is where you strengthen your brain. And
Yeah.
I can only say this in my terms. I'm not going to recite anybody online, but this is basically what I've learned. And what I've learned with the warrior's journey is that you have to face your fears. You have to face, like a warrior, you must go into battle,
Yeah.
right? We are all scared to go into battle with trauma. you know, you've suffered trauma, so have I. It's taking us 30 years to deal with it because the powers around us told us, go to therapy, go take meds, you know, talk to somebody, you know, go cheat on your wife, go drink alcohol, go do drugs. All these things are all out there for us to cope, right?
The conventional
BS.
methods. Yeah.
But never has it said, come face to face with your trauma. Never has it said, you know, or very few people do, face with their rapist.
Relive it.
They never relive their trauma. We're too busy sweeping it into our subconscious and under the rug.
There's some people that relive their trauma because it was so hard. They
hard.
relive it daily.
Yeah.
You know, I work in mental health, a locked unit, treatment and assessment. And, you know, there's patients that, you know, scream in the middle of the night because they say someone was in my room, someone was doing this, but it's reliving that trauma over and over.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, it's really tough. And, you know, us doing this is, you know, it can be really taxing.
Oh, yeah.
Mentally.
Oh, yeah. Like I was just going to say when you were talking about your client, about, you know, reliving a rape, you know, that is hard for, you know, your client, your patient, but it's also hard for you.
Yeah.
Because you have to,
you know how
be
I
able
feel.
to absorb that too, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not sociopaths, people. Like I have emotion, a lot of it,
big
and
time.
I know you do too. And when someone breaks to you, that it's taxing on us.
It's a lot of
right?
work.
So, you know, our self-care and us, you know, it's very important. We have to know how much we
How do
can-
you,
we
like,
can take
yourself down after work and stuff? Like if you get into, because you get in some pretty hairy situations at work and probably some emotional stuff. Like how do you bring it back to earth?
It's sometimes it takes a couple days. You know, when I get off of a set of four 12 hours or 2 12s and 2 8s, you know, I'm spent. You know, last night I got off work at 11:30, and you know, today I feel a little bit of a daze because you know it was hard the last couple days. You know, taking all that on, and you know, I try to keep my self-care. You know, I try to eat properly. I try to make sure that I exercise. Get up. Even if you can't run, go for a walk. Get that blood moving. And also meditation. Just sitting in silence for, you know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes is so good.
It's so important. Like there's a couple other things that really go with a microdosing program, and you just nailed one of them. You know, and I always tell people, like, taking microdose and going on with your life is one thing, but taking microdose and having a program is what will change.
Yes.
Having a curriculum, as you said for the second time today,
Yep.
right, is, you know, it is having a program. And some of the things I like to lay out for my clients, number one, when you're trying to change, is number one, fasting. What will happen in your life sometimes if your life is cluttered or you're in a panic or things aren't going right, is because you have too much stuff.
And some people, I mean, not myself, but some people eat when they're stressed.
Yeah.
You know, like you
Which is a crutch.
You telling somebody to, you know, fast, that's easier said than done.
Yeah, it is.
For a lot of people, because some people use that food as a crutch.
They do. And this is part of the retraining of your brain, is that you don't need people, you don't need food, and you don't need, you know, to take on other people's problems. There's a lot of things that you can stop taking on. Because if you really look at it, most of our mental health and most of our mental problems come from what we eat and drink and put into our body, majority of the time. So if you limit what you put in your body, you limit the amount of stress and strain that you're putting on your psyche and on your health, right? So, and what you do is you actually start training your brain to hunt, right? Because our brains are hunters by nature. So when you wake up in the morning, your brain is instantly hunting for food. And if you deny it, it becomes a stronger hunter.
It's been inbred to us. I mean, people in general, we overeat. We overeat like mad.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only supposed to have one meal a day.
That's it.
But we're trained to have 3. And now we're trained to have snacks and then
Yeah.
You know,
And
desserts.
it takes training to get to that. Like, don't just tomorrow say I'm going to start fasting, because you'll be like, what am I doing? But you could, but you need to know, drink water, you know, you need to know timing. And
Yep.
that's stuff we teach in our course. Also, the other thing is learn to be alone.
Learn
right?
to be happy alone.
Yeah.
Learn to not need acceptance from other people. Love yourself. Love yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't love yourself, you're always going to be looking for other people.
Big
You know,
time.
You have to love yourself. You have to be content with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before other people can love you. If you can't love yourself, why are other people going to love you?
Yeah. And you know, the best trick to learning how to be good by yourself or whatever is to just do it.
Yeah.
Is to force yourself into silence, like you said, right? Like, force yourself to sit for 20 minutes doing nothing. No phones, no talking, no eating, no drinking, no nothing. Just 20 minutes, close your eyes, listen to your heart, listen to your head,
And it'll
listen to
feel
your
weird.
body.
It'll be
does.
hard at first, but just try it. Give it a chance.
Yeah. It's like I used to do back in the day, micro naps, those 10-minute naps where you'd fall asleep and wake up. Oh, you're all discombobulated, but then you felt good for a little while, right? It's like, that's exactly what that is.
I think you did that a couple times in our grade 11
Yeah, I
communications
probably
class.
kind of.
Micah!
Yeah, that was a great class. That teacher, that was the vice principal who taught that, the kickboxer guy.
Yeah.
And I remember he said, "You guys all pass. All you got to do is show up, and
That's
you pass." And I was like, "Dope!" And I had barely showed up. The other thing that you that is super important. What was I going to say? Was what was it? It was be alone. It was fasting. Oh, and it was other thing is you got to flip your schedule. So you got to do different things than what you're used to, because the microdosing works on a conscious level. The microdosing is fighting your subconscious to make you make good decisions. All right. So when you wake up in the morning, you automatically go and get a coffee. That's autopilot. So me this morning, I said, no coffee. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to consciously choose to wake up differently. Right. Because I was
taking control of your
taking
brain,
control.
and a lot of people are unable to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the brain is strong. The
Strong.
brain can put you into
It hunts for comfort.
physical uncomfort. Like
Yeah.
the brain is very
Oh,
strong.
yeah.
It controls the body,
So you have to control the brain.
but you have to do it in such a way where you're not
Forcing.
stressing
Yeah,
your
stressing.
body out.
Yeah.
Also, not like taking the brain prisoner and
Yeah. Yeah.
you got to finesse it a little bit. Like, okay, we're going to try no coffee today and see how long we can go with it.
Yeah, don't do what I did. Like my problem is I went for hormone testing before I did my macrodose. And when I went for hormone testing, they found my serotonin was 400% too low. My dopamine was 300% too low. I had zero endorphins being created in my, like, it was off. And I had lived that way for 35 years of my life. So I was wondering, why was I going in and out of trouble my whole life? Why was I unstable, this and that? It's because I was born with low body hormones, with low hormones. So I did a hormone test. They found that out. I did some things to raise my hormone levels through supplements and stuff. And then I just finally reached, but I didn't get over that hump. And then the Warriors journey took me over the hump. Right. And now I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm just regulated all the time now. Like, some people call me grumpy, negative, but I'm not. I'm just living in reality. Right. And, you know, and I choose, after my Warriors journey, what I've chosen is to live truth and not to live fake, and not to get involved with things that aren't me or aren't real.
Living fake is harder work.
It's hard work, man. Right? So, you know, from my journey, and this is what everybody will find when they do a journey with us, is you're going to find your truth of who you are.
Yep.
And the only thing that will take that down is if you lose control of what you work for while you're doing this, while you're doing the macro and the microdoses, right? If you lose touch of that, you stop, or you stop listening to those voices in your head, right? The mushrooms talking to you. If you stop listening to them, then you know it's all for naught, right? You have to listen and give in completely. It's like religion. Yep. You have to give yourself to the mushroom, the great mushroom in the sky, right? But I was gonna say the third thing is do hard shit. You have to do what is difficult. because the difficult is the work. Easy is not the work. The difficult is the work. Your brain wakes up and goes, should I go easy coffee or should I go difficult water and wait for coffee? You make that choice. 80% of the world goes coffee.
I mean,
right? It's a choice, but
this treatment always also works on, say, something like smoking.
Yeah,
you know,
just
you
use
get up
anything.
in the morning, you're programmed.
Yeah.
I'm a vapor. I've never smoked, but I got into vaping because I own a store. And I vape for 6 years now. And every day when I get up in the morning, I take a vape.
Take a hit. Yeah.
And
it's a subconscious act.
You know, maybe, you know, down the road in our sessions, I'd like to maybe do some therapy and try and let's do that on the air. Let's see if we can get me to stop vaping. I'm a hardcore vapor, and I vaped for 6 years, never smoked, but I do vape. Let's see if we can cut that out.
Well, I mean, but you cut it out if you think it's a problem. If you
really
enjoy
it.
Yeah.
However, you know, I got a new baby on the way, and you know,
can make some changes.
Test myself. Like Mike's saying, do the hard.
Yeah.
You know, if you want results, try the hard.
Yeah.
You know, the hard for me would be to quit vaping.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to do that.
It's part of the reprogramming that has to happen. You cannot, like I said at the beginning, you cannot just take microdosing or mushrooms and expect change. If you do that, you are just setting yourself up to quit, right? You have to put in the work. You have to get up first thing in the morning and work out. You have to take a different direction home. You have to talk to a stranger. You have to do these things. These are conscious acts.
And even though they're hard work, after it's done, you feel better.
Yeah, you feel a lot better. And it's like working out, you know, the reps. You got to put in the reps, man, to get the guns, right? Like you got to do it. And microdosing, all that is doing is basically the steroids for your brain. But you got to put in the time in the gym, right? You got to, man. It's like anything in life.
This is a hidden message for me because I haven't hit the gym for so long.
Yeah, but that's okay. You're sexy, man.
He's trying to.
It's all good. You're married with Kay. You don't even need it anymore.
Dad bod. I don't need the gym no more. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So I think maybe on our next episode, why don't we maybe talk about, you know,
our special guest?
Yeah, we can talk about our special guest that we got coming up on the podcast in the next few episodes, and maybe talk about, like, you know, the macro versus the micro, and, you know, maybe some of the things that we have coming up for people that are going to be able to take part of.
Maybe we could put that dosing graph up on.
Oh yeah, if I have that,
the screen for our next have a.
You know, I could put it in the edit.
There you go.
I'll put it in the edit, and we'll just have it up there.
Or you can check out our
site,
Instagram.
Yeah, tell them, everybody, where we can find you to talk to you.
For me, it's My Mushroom Experience on Instagram. Feel free to DM me if you have any questions. Yeah, that's all me. So.
Yeah, and you if you're interested in the therapy, go to alteredstatetherapy.com. You can see a bunch of the stuff that's on there. We're going to make some additions today. There's going to be some new programs that are going to be added to it. Yeah. Also, you can contact me at Microdose BC on Instagram, Microdose BC. Just look for the big mushroom, and we're on there. And just ask us questions. Like, don't go through these things alone, and don't try to listen to some quack that's going to, you know, charge you a whole bunch of money for information. You know, we're here to help. We're here to help people find better lives, one person at a time.
Yep.
We're in this for the long haul, and we definitely want to help you if you're interested.
We just want to spread the knowledge because we found this new therapy that works wonders. Yeah. And
and just so you know, we're not doctors. James is close to a doctor, but I'm not a doctor.
I mean, my credentials, I've worked in addictions and mental health for pretty much 15 years. Yeah. So I've got some stories. I've seen some stuff. So
you have experience too, like tons, in dealing with psychosis. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So, you know, like you said, we're just regular guys who have found our path in life of what we want to do and what we need to do. And hopefully that will help you or anybody else out there listening that's interested. This is your episode of Morning Dose. Stay tuned for our next episode here. We're going to talk about friends that we've just met, and we're going to talk about the process of, if you come to us, what's going to happen with you step by step, just so you know what you're going to need to do to get on that path to a brighter and happier life. Don't forget to take your morning dose every single morning. My name is Mike Colton. That's James Coulter. See you on the next episode.